Just when you think you've seen everything, something new comes down the pike. And guys, listen, we have all had pitchers scratch for one reason or another when betting baseball. But I can honestly say, in all the years that I've been doing this, and I've been betting baseball since I was a teenager, okay? And all the years that I've been betting baseball, I have never had a pitcher scratch before he left the clubhouse because he went all Martha Stewart and decided to take a Black & Decker chainsaw or something and reportedly shredded all the team's throwback uniforms. Yes, and we're talking about Chris Sale of the White Sox, who Chris Sale really wants to get out of Chicago. I think he definitely burned a few bridges last night as the White Sox decided to send him home and not make his start last night against Detroit, which, of course, I had the White Sox last night on the run line as a best bet against the Tigers, so that was a no play. Certainly strange, but listen, if you believe the reports, and I don't see any reason not to, the various sources say that's why he was scratched, so hey, I go with it. But there's two very important lessons to be learned from this incident. One, I always specify pitchers, and I do it for a reason. I specify both pitchers when I'm making a bet. I've done it from day number one when I first started betting baseball, because when I'm evaluating a team, I'm evaluating the pitching performance of the team I'm betting on, that pitcher, and the guy he's going against. So why would I ever want to have my money on somebody who never was factored into the equation? Now, not every single handicapper or gambler will do so. Hell, even at the site, you'll find Chris Jordan. He's a prime example. Often he'll specify no pitchers. He just doesn't care. He's just betting on the team. Or he'll specify one pitcher and that's it. And that's fine. It's debatable. Just like whether or not you should buy a half point in football, which, by the way, you should when that line crosses 3, 4, 7, and sometimes 10, and I'll hammer that home repeatedly starting 40 days from now when the real season starts. But that's a debate for another day. The second most important thing that came out of last night's game, I think we should all immediately email Ben Roethlisberger or the Steelers, because the next time the Steelers make them wear those bumblebee prison uniform inspired throwback uniforms, we should all perhaps set up a fundraising page and send Roethlisberger a chainsaw and let him destroy all those ugly looking uniforms. Those are pathetic. Those are just ridiculous. The only things possibly as bad as that, remember the Green Bay Packers? They had those uniforms. I don't have the picture of them, but they had those uniforms. Remember the electric vibrating football games that some of us had when we were kids, like me? You know, the little field and the little guys, you change the little things on the bottom, you those little filaments one way or another, and hopefully your running back would go straight down the field, but in reality, he usually went 5 yards, and then he spun in a little circle, and you had to hope. Yeah, the Green Bay Packers had those uniforms. They had those ugly numbers on their chest, and that's what they reminded me of. Those little football players, they had little circles on their chest where you could put a number. They had those little uniforms. Well, actually, there were two pieces of molded plastic. One piece has red on the top, and then they had yellow on the bottom. Well, in the Packers' case, it was like green and navy blue. Yeah, those are the type of ugly retro uniforms. Maybe the White Sox should have brought back the uniforms they had, what was it, like in 76 or 75 or something like that, when they had the shorts. Remember the short outfits? I remember Greg Luzinski, who I grew up following when I was with following the Phillies when I was a kid. I remember Greg Luzinski was playing for the White Sox, and then I thought, boy, that guy is a big guy to be in that ugly uniform wearing shorts on the base paths. But anyway, let's move forward. Lost the free play yesterday with the Cubbies, and had the other team having a pitcher scratch because he thought he was a Mad Taylor. Go figure. Listen, guys, I'm going to go with the Phillies as one of my free selections here today in the rubber game of the series against Pittsburgh. Vince Velasquez, since returning from the disabled list after a short stint on there because of soreness in his biceps muscle, in 4 starts, he's 3-0 with a excellent 1.86 earned run average in them, and he's fanned 28.5 batters in 24 innings of work. And you know he's faced some pretty good teams. He won at Arizona. He won at Colorado. Beat Kansas City at home. Took a no decision against Miami. I just like the Phillies in the spot, plus $1.35 in this one. The other game is interesting. It's Baltimore and Cleveland. I could really make a case for either one of the teams, but ultimately it comes down to the fact that the Orioles are 35-14 at home this season. They've won 9 of their last 10 at Camden Yards. They've taken the first 2 games in this series against Indians, who really, after hitting that red-hot stretch, remember basically the entire month of June, end of May. They've kind of cooled off like everybody is always going to. They're going with Corey Kluber, who has pitched very well. About that, but I just like the way the Orioles are playing, and I can get Baltimore at $1.20 in this spot. Now, Vance Morley's only making his fourth start of the season for the Orioles. Two of them were back in April. The most recent one was this past Tuesday against the Yankees, and they did not pitch well in that game. But Morley has bounced around with the Pirates, with the Twins, with the Phillies, the Venimal, I think they used to call him in his Phillies days. This guy had pitched very well in long relief and in middle innings for the Orioles this season. He just has to be stretched out a little bit. So I'm willing to take a shot with the Orioles. They've been hitting the ball well. And listen, the bottom line is this. When you are 35-14 at home and you've won 9 of their last 10 games at home, and I can take you as a $1.20 underdog, and in fact, probably in this particular spot, I would guess that they would probably go up to about $1.25, maybe even $1.30 if you wait for the game time. I think the Orioles are a decent play. Then again, I thought the Cubs were a good play on Saturday. There you go. So, the Orioles and the Phillies are your two complimentary plays today. Remember, send those letters to Ben Roethlisberger. We don't want any more of those bumblebee outfits anymore. That'll do it, guys. I wish you well, and I'll talk to you again tomorrow when we do this one more time.